Squeeze my lemon. Squeeze my lemon till I jump right out of bed. I said, woman, squeeze my lemon till I jump right out of bed.
नमस्कार नेपाली E-Chordsमा स्वागत छ। आज मैले तपाईहरुको सामु नेपालको एकजना ट्यालेन्टेड म्युजिशियन इज अ भोकलिस्ट एज वेल एज अ भेरी ट्यालेन्टेड गिटारिस्ट लिएर आएको छु। ही इज एक्चुअली इन US एक्चुअली राइट नाउ, सो उहाँलाई मैले यहाँ DC एरियामा भेट्ने मौका पाएको थिएँ र I'm going to put some questions in front of him to find out more about him, his music interest and what he is up to right now. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Abhishek Mishra to Nepali E-Chords.
Nice to be here. Hello, Nepali E-Chords.
So Abhishek, first of all, welcome to Nepali E-Chords. So,
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
So अहिले US मा हुनुहुन्छ
Yeah.
अनि कति भयो आउनु भएको?
It's been 10 days now.
10 days?
Yeah, it's been
कति टाइमको लागि आउनु भएको?
I'm here for a month.
Monthको लागि. First time है?
This was
How you liking it so far?
I love it.
Really?
It's great. It's amazing.
I know you were in New York a few days back, right?
Yeah. So I'm based in New York. I'm staying with a friend of mine in Jersey, and that's where I'm, traveling from,
Okay.
going to shows.
अरु कता कता जाने प्लान गर्नु भएको छ?
I'm basically here. I was here mainly for the gig in DC that we had, which was an amazing night.
Right. And I was fortunate enough to witness your, electrifying performance on the stage.
What warms my heart a lot is how tight-knit you guys are staying. Because I'm from Nepal, we don't see our friends for such a long time
Right,
and stuff.
right.
Forget making music together
Right.
and stuff. But it's great to see when we all came together. And I
Right.
met people that I had not, I didn't even know, they lived here
Right.
from my school days.
Oh, really? You met
Yeah,
someone?
yeah, I met someone,
That's awesome.
yeah.
I mean,
So, and it's amazing, it's great. I love
So
it. I love
Abhishek
it.
Mishra भनेर I know a lot of people know you back home and all that, right?
Yeah.
जसलाई चाहिँ थाहा छैन हैन, which are not privileged enough to know you. कसरी आफ्नो इन्ट्रोडक्सन दिनुहुन्छ अभिषेक मिश्र भनेको को?
How do I introduce myself? Wow. Well, I mean, I usually go by the moniker ASM, which is Abhishek Shankar Mishra. That's my full name. Also sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And I was, if people usually ask me about my music and who I am, and I just go, I just play music, honest, just stripped down, or at times loud, because the kind of music that I play is the kind of music I grew up with.
Right.
So if I play Zeppelin or Soundgarden or Pearl Jam, it's because I have tons of CDs, because I'm a music fan to begin with. I was a fan. हाम्रो माउबौद्धमा गएर CD चक्का हुन्छ नि, टिकटकमा गएर त्यो क्यासेट किन. I was one. I was
Yeah, we did that too. I mean,
and you
Akka, I remember the Akka back then.
Yeah. And it was great because there was a lot of tape trading when I was
Absolutely,
growing up
yeah.
as well. And पछि CD आयो हुन्छ
Right,
नि,
right.
माउबौद्धमा गएर यत्रो छ्याङ किनेर
Yeah.
भन्ने. So and I'm usually known as a blues guy, but blues for me is not just music. It's a state of mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the right way to put it, I guess.
Because blues is until you have that sort of struggle and that sort of that it's nose to the ground
Right.
sort of challenge and struggle, which we all had in Nepal.
Right.
We all still do. It's Nepal is a beautiful music scene. I feel so blessed to have grown up in Kathmandu, around
Right.
that area, and हाम्रो दाइहरुसँग who are such great inspirations, and now I can call them my friends. I mean that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I felt for the longest time
Right.
that हाम्रो नेपालको musicians can, we can take that next step. You know what I mean? We can go out and play on international cards.
Right.
We're that good, and it's a time when I need to introduce myself on stage and I go, hi, I'm ASM and I
Right,
play
right.
the blues.
Right.
And that's how I start. So long story short, I'm a musician.
Okay.
I'm an artist, and I do not get pegged by any genres because I'm also making electronic music
Right.
with Bibek Taman,
Okay.
who's a great drum player back home. And so For me, I'm just a lover of music and art and everything that.
How did you get into music, Vanessa? Like, what
Ah.
is, you know, you remember like picking up your guitar
How
or
much time
getting.
do you have?
We have plenty of time.
You have to know, I come from 6 generations of music.
Oh, wow.
My grandfather, Pandit Umashakar Mishra, was one of the first disciples of Pandit Ravi Shankar.
Oh, wow.
Back in the 50s, late 40s. And my grandfather toured everywhere, like everywhere across the world. Because classical music at that time, during the 60s and 70s, there was so much acceptance, especially America's and in Europe
absolutely.
and stuff. That he got it because it was on its boom and its rise, so he toured everywhere. My father, Vijay Shankar Mishra, he plays everything, sarod, sitar. So,
Oh, wow. So you kind of grew up in a classical.
yeah, it was like, if I didn't get into music, I would probably be denying my own destiny or sort.
Right,
But
right,
I actually did not get into music. When I came out of school, when I was 18, I played a few shows in Tamil, and then circumstances were as such that I had to give up music altogether. And
Oh,
by
wow.
altogether, I mean I gave away my amp, I gave away my guitar.
So you pretty much fair goodbye to music at
because
some.
I had to go another direction in life because I had to like help out the family. I never went to college. I eventually I put myself through college, but it because we live in such a tight knit family structure back home that you take pride that you did that as well.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? You took care of your family. And after when I was 23, 24, I basically told my dad, look, I should probably go. And my dad, you would think he would be very encouraging because we come from line of musicians.
Right.
The first thing that he told me, he said, it's tough.
Right.
You have to realize that a lot of stars have to align for you to make it.
Right.
And he gave me some really, really strong advice. He said, do what you want to do, but always have a plan B and a plan C. You know how they teach even people in American colleges when they go on football degrees or
Right.
they go on hockey degrees, they always say, get your grades in order
Right,
and
right.
stuff, something like that. So I remember the first memory I have of song was of any sort of piece of music was when I was 2 years old. And my
2 years old?
When I was 2 years old.
Really?
And I know the structure of Rag Yaman because my grandfather used to practice every
Okay.
morning. So that is what the first memory of music that I have is
Right.
Rag Yaman, complete structure and stuff. And as I grew up, I listened to, there was not a lot of rock playing in my house, so I listened to a lot of Backstreet Boys. those are the cassettes I was allowed to keep. Bob Marley. But what was the turning point in my life is when I heard Highway to Hell for the first time.
Okay. When was that?
And that was back in 97,
Okay.
96, I think. On the TV, I'm like,
What the hell is
what
that?
this? What is this godly music? And then Bistare, साथीहरु त्यति बेला नेपालको गछ टोलमा गिटार
Right,
बजाउने
right,
मान्छेहरु
yeah,
and
yeah.
And I was so happy that my friends taught me how to play the guitar. I never learned. I still don't know. Like I don't know how to read or write music, but since I come from a music family, what we always focused on was the ear,
Right.
and I learned from my friends. I learned from Daiharu, Bhaiharu, and stuff like that. And I just picked it up from there. My music journey started only 4 years ago, to be honest. Like when I went, let's start gigging, let's start doing this. So it's honestly just been 4.5 years.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like you picked it up quite a lot in the last 4 years. I mean.
Well, I mean, you have to know, in the time that I was not playing music,
Right.
and I was working in handicrafts back home, I was still listening to music, right? And that's when I heard the album that sort of changed my life is Led Zeppelin's Greatest Hits,
Okay.
right? And the first track was Stairway to Heaven, but the second track was Since I've Been Loving You, which is my absolute favorite
That's a great
song by
song,
Led Zeppelin,
yeah.
like one of my favorite songs of all time,
Right.
And I remember hearing that piece of music, and it's strange. It moves. It stays inside you
Right.
for a lifetime. Even if I hear Since I'm Loving You right now, I go back to that state, and you feel that love that you have towards music. And I honestly felt this attraction towards music. Like the more I would deny it,
Right.
the more I would feel it pulling me and pulling me and pulling me. And in the end, I just went, you know what?
I mean, would you like call yourself more of a singer or a guitarist or a musician in a like?
In all honesty, I would call myself more of a singer.
Okay.
I would, but that's the thing. I always loved the guitar.
Right.
I always wanted to play the guitar. I always wanted to learn Sweet Child of Mine ko intro.
Everybody on it,
You know, And I practiced day and night religiously because I knew, because my dad would tell me, you
Right.
you have to give in your time. When other people are out playing, you need to be home practicing, because that pays dividend to you later.
Right.
Always
That's a
remember
good
that.
advice. I mean, you know, it's
And he was absolutely right. He was absolutely right, because I spent nights just practicing and practicing. औँला काटेर त्यो कालोबाट हरियो हुन्छ हैन, and stuff like that. But you would still not give up because you just wanted to do this so
Right.
badly, so badly. Yeah, so yeah.
Do you remember the first tune you learned in guitar?
That's actually a very, very good question. The first tune I learned with guitar was probably Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Okay, good.
No. I think the first tune. Well, that's actually a very good question. I think it was Unforgiven. I think that's one of the first songs.
Oh, you picked it up quite like with a great number. I
Yeah,
mean,
I picked it up right there.
because most of us picked it up with some Nepalese, you know, like
Yeah, I know.
Deurali Ukali Chadera kind of thing. You know,
By
that's
the time,
probably.
by the time I was growing up,
Right.
हाम्रो त्यत्रो Western music आइसकेको थियो.
Yeah.
We had too much
Ah.
going on and stuff.
अब भनौँ न नेपालको म्युजिक सिन अब अहिलेको होइन
Yep.
प्रेजेन्ट स्टेटमा what do you see, like where is it to go? I mean, I can definitely see, you know, like compared to 20 years ago,
Ah,
I mean, it's like, you know,
Amazing.
feel like it made a long progress from there, होइन
absolutely have.
कस्तो लाग्छ अहिलेको मतलब स्कोपको हिसाबमा अहिलेको जुन नयाँ जेनेरेसनहरू दे आर इन्टु म्युजिक, दे वान मेक इट अ करियर छ नि एउटा होइन, डु यु फिल लाइक दे हेभ इनफ स्कोप टु kind of make it a career and make your living out of the music?
Well, I mean, there are friends of mine who are making like a living out of doing just music, playing in the scenes. And
Right.
stuff. I honestly do think Nepal's music scene is blooming. Not just because they're great artists, but now they're sponsors and investors
Okay.
who are ready to invest in the art as well.
Right.
About you could have the best thing in the world, but if it's not marketed, then it's
Absolutely.
just what could have been, you know. And
Right.
Because हाम्रो पनि कति 20 years ago there were such great bands in Nepal, you know what I mean.
Right.
And you would go, had they had this level of exposure,
They would have done much
they would have
more.
done so much
Yeah,
more. And
absolutely.
now the struggle in Nepal is, because YouTube is on, you can learn any
Yeah,
song
right,
you want, yada
right.
yada. Now the struggle in Nepal is, okay, we play music, we do music, that's great. What next? You know, because I'm so happy that, you know, there are bars like Purple Haze that are open
Right.
and stuff, you know, and people kind of moan and piss about the covers and stuff. But I honestly look at it and go, but it's music that they grew up with. They're playing music that they
Right,
love.
right.
And there are like 300, 400 people coming in like weekly, and people sometimes in Nepal, sometimes you take it for granted. That crowd, but when I meet people from outside and they go like, bro, I mean, we are dying for a live music scene back home because it's not there anymore. People are not picking up a guitar and just belting it out anymore.
Right.
And in Kathmandu, you have people filling in spots and clubs,
Yeah.
and bars.
It's amazing.
400, 500. It's an amazing scene, and I feel, and a lot of us actually feel very, very happy with it and want to do more, a lot more.
तपाईँको प्रोजेक्टहरूको कुरा, तपाईँ you are still a frontman on Spirit X, I
Yes,
believe, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you just give a little background of that band, like what it is, when did it begin, what
That's
is
another long
it?
story. Man, well, I mean,
very short, you know, summarized
short,
version.
summarized version,
Yeah.
right? Spirit X started because 3 of my bands that I was in collapsed at the same time.
Okay.
So the drummer from another band called Nikesh Monster Joshi and Gaurav Joshi was the guitarist in another. Like we just got together because we just wanted to play music, you know, and kasiko visa layo, kasiko ke bhayo and stuff.
Right.
So everybody had their own life to take, which is perfectly fine because they're doing so well. But we just wanted to do. The first time we jammed together, I still remember, was Sweet Wine by Cream.
Okay.
The first song that we did, and sometimes when you play with artists, you just know, you know.
When you
It's
click,
just
you
like a
click,
club,
right,
It
yeah.
just clicks.
Right.
That's how it started with us. And Spirit X is a blues band, but at the same time, we actually call ourselves a rock and roll band, like purely because we're just 3 of us.
Right.
We rock and roll, and we're actually recording. We had our first music video out August called Goodbye, and now we're actually working on our second music video that should be out probably by April.
Okay.
Song called Just Like You, and so it's nice to get feedback on originals and Sunny, and people start going like, where is the video for that song? Where is it? When you're putting out that song?
Right,
like,
right.
It's a good kind of pressure.
So, how long it has been around?
Yeah, 4 years.
4 years?
3 years.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
for us, it's not been that long. And we just been. We were gigging around town trying to find places and everything. And now, after the music video and stuff, Like
So you have an album for
no,
Spirit?
no. Our plan is never to release an album per se at the moment.
Right.
We are focused on singles and
So did you actually make some music videos for them? Or?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, okay.
The first single of the first music video was called Goodbye.
Okay.
We had this nice gangster style video made. Then even all our dai are coming in, so we don't have to pay them.
That's awesome.
But it was great. It was awesome, and we're looking forward to playing more music.
Okay. So, what's your plan next? Like, kind of continue that Spirit X thing and.
Yeah, because I have 3 things going at the same time
Okay.
at the moment. Actually 4, if you look at it. Because I have Spirit X, which is blues, rock and roll and stuff. Then I have a project called Leo Aries with Bibek Tamang, which is the electronic
Okay.
rock project. And we put out a single last month. And we actually have plans to release an EP by April.
Okay.
So our tracks are almost done. So that should be out pretty soon. Then I have my solo stuff
Oh,
as
really?
well. And then also, shout out to Sarat Dai.
Okay.
Because me and him do 2 gunslingers, this acoustic thing.
I've seen those actually. That's really cool.
So
I mean,
that was where the Whole Lot of Love video came out from as well. That and sponsored by Jameson probably. So yeah, I mean, and it's there's so much you can do.
Right.
So much music you can make.
I mean, how do you keep up with all that? Like, I mean, you know.
With a smile on my face and a song in my heart.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not easy, you know, like to be involved in one project and forget about in 4 different projects. I mean, at the same time.
I love it because and to be honest, I think I'm not doing enough. I think there should be more. I should be doing more, and that's why I'm here.
And what is your motivation? Like, what keeps you going?
I pictured being here 4 years ago. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I backed myself, and I said, if I don't believe in myself, nobody else will. And I always backed myself because I mean, again, I wanted to stand out and I wanted to do my own thing. And a lot of times it was not a popular opinion because one of the most famous stories my drummer told me is he was talking to a club promoter back home, and he said, yeah, but my singer does not do English. He does not do Hindi or Nepali. And the guy goes to me and said, is his name Abhishek?
Really?
So and I didn't do that because I don't like them. I love Hindi and Nepali songs. We were listening to a Lata LP in back because I love the music.
Right.
But there's a lot of pressure that comes sometimes from the promoters to do certain things that you don't want to do.
Right.
And I just sort of stuck to my guns. And I think it did very, very well for me. And am I saying I won't release a Nepali song? Of course not. And I can reveal this to you, and this is the first place I can say
Okay,
this.
awesome.
You have an exclusive right here. I'm actually writing I'm not writing. We've actually come up with a Nepali song, a solo song
All right.
and stuff.
Awesome.
And because now I feel it's time. Because I feel Bitra Bada, okay, I want to do
Right.
something now. So, you know, so yeah, I'm keeping myself busy.
Awesome. I mean, good luck with that project.
So
much. So I wanted to go back to like when you said you kind of gave up on music for a while and then you kind of picked it up after a few years, right?
Yeah.
If you had to go back, you know,
Yeah.
would you change anything? Like, I mean, do you have any regret for not being able to, you know,
No.
continue since your school days?
I've actually asked myself that question a lot.
Okay.
I've even asked my question, what if I was here
Right.
back in the day? But I honestly tell myself, it's not just music that brought me here. There's a lot of self-exploration, hard times, struggles, success, failures. Musician hunu bhaneko, you need a lot of human education to get here. You have to have life education,
Right.
Because this is a hard industry. Like how many musicians are out there who are struggling every single
Absolutely.
day, and who are
There are more struggling than the one, you know.
who actually make
yeah,
it,
absolutely.
right?
I mean,
And he was absolutely right. Stars have to align for you to do it. But as a musician, like if anybody's listening as well, only thing you can do is put out as much music as possible. You never know. You never, because the first time Jimi Hendrix came to, this is the most inspiring story I have. The first time Jimi Hendrix came to London and released Hey Joe as a single, his own manager went all across London and brought all his LPs to make him #1. Because he knew how good he was.
right.
But he needed that little push.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the whole thing. Music ma hunda kheri, playing is fun, being live is fun, but it's that I always tell myself my good voice is not the talent. The hard work I put behind it to take it to the level it deserves is the hard work.
Right.
I didn't do anything to get it. All I can do is maintain it, right? It's the hard work you
That's
put
your modesty. I mean, you know, I'm
No,
sure
I
you
mean-
had to work hard to get that right. I mean,
Yeah,
not everybody can
I
claim that,
I had to
obviously.
quit
you know.
smoking. I know, cut that part out. Yeah, but I mean that's the thing. You need motivation.
Definitely. Because I mean, you know, like music is one of those things. Like personally, you know, I feel like it's just so easy to give up after a while. You know,
Yeah.
when you don't see anything come in, you know, you work hard and the
Yeah.
result is not quite out there.
You're like,
You know, yeah, I tried. I'm out of here. You know, just so I always kind of feel like the ones that somehow find a way to continue. You know, what they love, their passion, and all that. They eventually get the result. You know.
Yeah.
Or at least the self-satisfaction at the end of the day,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You
they do.
it's not like everybody's gonna make it. I mean,
No,
you know,
no, and you need to tell yourself.
Right.
You it's a very strange dichotomy of realizations is that you live in the moment and at the same time you have the bigger picture in mind, you know, which is such a anomaly to think about.
Right.
But at the same time, because the people around me, the Sati Stapis, the Mukti Shakis, and Saurabh Shrestha's, the people I see around me are still doing it.
Right.
So I'm still motivated, you know. I'm going like, they're coming up with good music and they're adapting with the times, social media and everything. And you learn that music in itself is like a living, breathing entity that you have to nurture,
Right.
and that you have to raise in 2016 and 17. You know what I mean? It's not the same like it was 20 years ago.
Right.
Ab aile city ma ta you have to be there, you have to talk.
Right.
Sometimes you have to close all the bars down, you know.
Yeah.
And it's all part of the education.
Right.
All of it, because if you keep your main goal in your mind always, is that I know I have to do a lot of little things. This is the big thing that I want in life. I think to some level you achieve it. And even if you don't, the people who are around you, just when they look at you do something, and they're inspired to go like, man, you know what? I have this long-standing dream as well. Maybe I can give it another crack. And they start pursuing things. You know what I mean? So it's this nice ripple effect of positivity. When somebody follows their dream, it makes other people follow their dream as well. And it's always a happier place when you listen. I mean, sometimes it's hard commercially, but if you have that in a passion or as a career, it always gives you peace of mind.
Right.
It always does. And that's the one thing I've learned about pursuing a dream, is that it has a ripple effect. And other people, I have messages from Bayaru, from Japa and stuff. They go, die, I have picked up a guitar and stuff like that.
Right.
And that warms my heart the most. I'm like, if one guy picks up a guitar because of me and he messages
Absolutely.
me,
That's pretty much the same thing I
I'm
say
done
too.
with this.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, that's all,
absolutely.
I'm done.
Yeah.
It's very rewarding.
Absolutely. I'm gonna ask you some questions, eh?
Sure.
Just favorite Nepali band,
Albatross.
favorite vocalist,
Sirish Dolly.
favorite Western band.
Ooh, that's a hard one. The easy choice would be Led Zeppelin.
Okay. That's cool.
I know, right? That would be cool.
Is Robert Plant the favorite singer now?
And I can tell you that I always had a high-pitched vocal. I just didn't know. But more than Robert Plant, or as much as Robert Plant, the man who inspired me to sing like this was actually Jeff Buckley.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't know if many people have heard of Jeff
Right.
Buckley, but for me, he was one of the best singers who was around. He's not alive anymore, unfortunately. But he like, you talk about musical inspiration. Jeff Buckley is my musical inspiration. I love Jeff Buckley. I love him so much. But yeah, I would go with Zeppelin. Yeah,
Okay.
I would go with Zeppelin.
Favorite song?
Oof. These questions keep getting tougher. Since I've already said, since I'm in love with you,
Okay.
I'll pick
Yeah, I think you
another
mentioned
song.
that.
I'll pick another
Okay.
song. I would pick, in all honesty, Daughter by Pearl Jam is one of my
Oh
favorite
yeah,
songs.
that's a great song.
All time. Because I heard verses, not 10. I didn't hear 10 first. I heard verses first.
Okay.
And I just love that album. I still have that album back home. I love it.
So I guess to conclude, होइन?
Yeah.
कस्तो खालको अब भन्नु न अब नेपालमा नयाँ जेनेरेसन यो जुन अहिले अपकमिङ छ नि होइन, there are so many youngsters that are interested to learn, sing, make their career, like I said, होइन, कस्तो खालको एउटा मेसेज दिन चाहनुहुन्छ, कस्तो खालको एडभाइस एउटा के दिन चाहनुहुन्छ उनीहरूलाई?
It's very hard sometimes because people have their own paths to take,
Right.
The only thing I've always said and I always told people is do what makes you happy. I know realities are harsh sometimes, I mean, even if you're a musician, it's so hard in Pokhara, in Kathmandu, Taran, there are bands playing and stuff like
Right.
that. Great bands playing and great artists playing over there. The only thing is, I can tell you, is if you want to what is the concept of making it? You know what I mean?
Right.
What is making it? If you want satisfaction in your life, like musically, you want a peace of mind. I'm satisfied with the music I put out. Is just make the most honest music that you can. And I know putting music out is like sending your kid to nursery.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like such a big piece of your heart. You put it out, and then YouTube might dislike it. People sometimes.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. You know, because in this world that you're alive for 50, 60 years, what is our life in the grand scheme of things? People have lived and died before us, right? They've been great artists. Prince is gone. David Bowie.
Yeah.
You know, they lived their lives.
Absolutely.
And the only thing is, in your 50, 60 years of existence on this planet, leave it better than you found it. That's all I'll say is, like, leave this a more positive, and if pursuing music gives you happiness, and that kid in the audience, that gives him happiness, then do it. Because that's the best thing. Paisa kamaincha ke. You can earn money, you can have a good living, but you'll look for that peace of mind when you're 60, 70, 80. And if you are able to say at that point, I'm glad I did it, that should be a motivation. I'm glad I spread positivity.
Right.
That should be a motivation.
That's a great piece of advice.
Yeah. Well, I try to follow it.
Yeah, I agree. So I would like to thank you for your time. Definitely, it's an honor to have you on the show.
That's an honor to be here.
Good luck with all your projects.
Thank you so
Have
much.
fun in US while you are here, and we look forward to seeing your more shows in the future, maybe more grand shows.
Thank you.
And thanks.
And I look forward to being here very, very soon again.
Okay. Yeah, we can't wait either.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Nepali
Abhishek.
E-Chords.
Thanks.